American households are in financially real good shape. I know this won't get any views because no one likes positive news, but look, man, you got to be positive when the numbers are there. And if you're saying, "Oh, it's just because Trump's in office," no, not at all. Like I was saying this before, even Trump was kicked out when Biden was in office. I was saying the same thing because the facts are the facts. So let's look at it. It's a Federal Reserve Board of Governors, governor. State level debt to income. Debt to income is simply how much debt you have relative to your income. So if you got $100,000 of debt, you get $100,000 of income, your debt to income ratio is 1. We're not talking about debt service, all right, in terms of how much you pay in debt service relative to income. That'd be debt to income when it comes to buying a mortgage or something like that. We're actually talking about your debt, or almost like your debt to GDP ratio as a government. And we'll get into both these things here in just a second. So what you can see now is the great state of Georgia, our debt to income ratio in Georgia is 1.49. All right, so that means for every $100,000 of debt we have in Georgia, we owe $1,419. Not bad. In New York, look at that. For every $100,000 of income they have in Georgia, they only owe 990, whatever. They owe less than they have as total income, if that makes sense. For $100,000, they owe $95,000 essentially. California's 1.71, Colorado's 1.8. There's no state above 2%. Isn't that interesting? Well, right there, Idaho, because all these people moving from California, which is weird because you think they'd cash out all those highfalutin houses and just buy a house debt free. But anyway, looks like only Idaho's the only state with a debt to income ratio above 2. Virginia 1.7, Maine's 1.5, Massachusetts 1.22. So you can see this nice little group here, very low debt to income. South Dakota is 1.2. Missouri is 1.2. Tejas is 1.22. New York's the only state with less than 1, or maybe, New York's the only state, well, D.C., but no one cares. New York's the only state with less than 1 debt to income, and Idaho's the only state with more than 2. So let's go back a couple years. Let's go back to 2000. Ooh, look at 2011. Yikes, that's ugly. Virginia had a debt to income ratio of over 2. Florida 2.2. California 2.4. Yikes, not good. Go to 2015. Virginia still had a debt to income of 1.8, California 1.7, Idaho has gone up, but look at that, Florida 1.5, Texas 1.063, New York is still less than 1. Let's go to 2006. Look at that. Then we're going to go right here to 2008 when things really level. Look at that, dude. Remember this. I had clients in Nevada, Florida, and Arizona who just got smoked because they're so heavily leveraged on real estate. I mean, look at just all that red. 2.775 in Nevada, 2.997 in California, Arizona 2. I mean, look at that, dude. Crazy. Now look where we are now, though. Refresh here. I mean, look how clear that is. I mean, this is a good Maine's 1.4. It's just there's nothing that jumps out like. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit high, but 1.6 versus 1.4. Alabama's 1.3. I mean, hell, Mississippi. Illinois 1.097, Kansas. I mean, even Massachusetts 1.2. Crazy. Where's Delaware in here? Yeah, right there. 1.5 in Delaware. I mean, just Maryland's. It just looks good. So let's keep going here because this is good stuff across the board. We're going to talk about how's debt service payments as a percentage of disposable income. This would be the typical debt to income ratio that you're thinking about when you go qualify for a mortgage. How much debt does it cost to service our debt on a monthly basis relative to our income? And if you took a loan out for a mortgage, remember the old days, it's 28 to 36% would be the debt to income ratio that allowed you to get to buy a first mortgage. A second mortgage was different. Because second mortgage what came up behind the first mortgage, had to be subordinate to the first mortgage. So a second mortgage, a home equity loan or something like that, it could be depending on what the bank's underwriting was. But a first mortgage was different. All right, so a first mortgage debt to income ratio couldn't really be over, I think it was 28 to 36. Then I think when they got a lot more lenient, they went as high as 44%. So that means if you had $100,000 of income, as long as you wouldn't have a debt to income ratio more than $44,000 to service that debt, they'd grant you the loan. Not good. Anyway, but check this out. You can see our debt to service, and this is disposable personal income, is net of taxes and net of Social Security tax. Debt service income, let's see. Does it say in here? Maybe it doesn't. Well, I know it's net of taxes and Social Security tax, whatnot. So anyway, we are right here at 11. So for every $100,000 we got coming in, 11,000 is going out to debt. And that's historically quite low. Look at that. We go back here, 1986 was lower than that, a little bit higher than it was in 1993, but not much. Look where it was here in 2008, 9, 10. I mean, below where it was based over the last decade. Even back here in 1980 is at 10. Now we're just at what, 11? So we're basically tracking pretty good. And it even gets better. Check this out. Household debt to GDP. This is the growth of the GDP, gross domestic product, relative to total household debt. I mean, look at this. 71% debt to GDP ratio of household debt to US GDP. Now, it's kind of a silly measurement because GDP isn't what you bring home and put in the bank or anything. But at the end of the day, look where we were in 2008, and just household debt has been dropping relative to GDP. In fact, I mean, just look at this. Household debt service payments have been dropping relative to your income. It's just a fact. And watch this. This is outstanding private debt securities to GDP for the United States. Private debt securities, all right? And so you can see right here, I mean, again, we go back to 2008, debt was high, and now it's low. As low as it's been since, I mean, we're talking 2000 and right there at the year 2000. So we're in a pretty good shape. We're not as good shape as before the 9/11 happened, if you know what I'm saying. But we're in pretty good shape, relatively speaking. It's hard to imagine a massive sell-off of stuff, and I mean, just look, there's a million things that go wrong. I get it. We don't know what's the next shoe could drop, but households are in pretty good shape when it comes to lack of debt. There just isn't that much debt in the average American households as there was. And as such, that's something to hang your hat on. Wages are going up bigger than inflation. The debt is down. Unemployment is low. I know there's a lot of negativity out there, but at the end of the day, things are pretty doggone good, man. So, feather in the cap for the United States of America, because no matter who the idiot in the presidency is, we are very resilient people. I don't care if you're Biden, if you're Trump, if you're Obama, if you're freaking George Bush, I don't care. The American people are better than our government. And as such, don't let politics freaking just get you crazy. It doesn't make sense. All right, God bless. Get out there and crush. We'll see you.